the day before, Volkswagen CEO in China said that Volkswagen will not focus on competing with Tesla in China. They won't focus on discounting their electric cars. They won't do any of that because that's going to hurt customers. They made those comments, but the day before that, they reduced the price of the ID3 to its lowest price ever, to an absolute steal of a deal. I'm a bit confused. Is Volkswagen's CEO in China even aware of what the company is doing in the country? I don't think he actually is. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. It's great to see you. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Sam Evans, and this is kind of confusing, kind of weird stuff, right? I mean, it really does show a disconnect between the leader of the company, or the so-called leader of the company, and what the business is actually doing on the ground. Volkswagen's EV sales have stalled in China. This is to be predicted. It's just not perceived by the Chinese as being a brand, an EV brand. And the reality is there's not a single Volkswagen electric car in the top 20 in EV sales last month or the month before that in China. There was in the past, but not anymore. So Volkswagen sales are stalling big time. Now, Volkswagen's CEO is being questioned on this, and his response was to say, we're focusing on profitability, not on actually generating sales in China. But the day before he said that, Volkswagen did the exact opposite. For those of you unaware, one of Volkswagen's businesses in China built the ID3, but that's a joint venture between SAIC and Volkswagen, or SAIC and Volkswagen, and SAIC is the Chinese government. So yeah, Volkswagen are partnered with the Chinese government to build the ID3. Anyhow, the starting price has been lowered from 143,000 yen, according to carnewschina.com, to 119,900 yen. That means it now costs 16,000 US dollars. It was 19,700. 16,000 US dollars. In Europe, for example, it's nearly 40,000. I think it is actually around 40,000. That's a 16% price decrease. Now, I'm not sure what you guys think. I would like to know though, do you think this is considered discounting your car or just keeping the price the same? Very strange. Anyhow, I think it's a good deal. I'd consider one of these for this price. I don't know about in China whether or not people really will, because there's a lot of different options in China. I mean, you can get a Dolphin or you can get something else instead, BYD Dolphin, you can get MG4, lots of other good options too. The ID3 model for the Chinese market is produced by SAIC Volkswagen, but realistically it's basically an SAIC factory or SAIC factory, and the dimensions are pretty much the same, in fact almost identical to the European version. It's 4,261 millimeters long, so it's very, very similar size to the BYD Dolphin, 1,778 millimeters wide and 1,568 millimeters tall. Wheelbase is 2,655 millimeters. So like I said, it is a very similar size to the MG4, BYD Dolphin, and the Great Wall Motors Aura. The ID3 has a rear-mounted electric motor, which delivers 170 horsepower, which is 125 kilowatt, basically the same exact power as GWM's Aura, and has a peak torque of 310 newton meters, same torque as the mid-spec Dolphin and the base model MG4. It has a 57.3 kilowatt hour ternary lithium battery. So it's not a lithium iron phosphate battery pack. Gives the car a range of 450 kilometers on the CLTC cycle, meaning on the WLTP cycle, which is what we use in the rest of the world, or most of the rest of the world anyhow, outside of the US, around about 400 kilometers of range. So exactly how many EVs are Volkswagen selling in China right now? Well, actually a minuscule amount. They have a market share of 2.9%. In the month of May, Volkswagen delivered 11,300 EVs. And it has three models, the ID3, the ID4, and the ID6. What does that mean? Its percentage of the EV market isn't increasing. I mean, Volkswagen said it's been ramping production up significantly, building more factories. It has done this is true, but its market share has dropped. It's gone from 3.2% last year to 2.9% this year. This is a pretty bad sign. Why is this a bad sign? Well, because Volkswagen used to, well, last year and in the past, make more money selling cars in China than in any other region. A lot of people think, oh, it doesn't matter if Volkswagen can't sell cars in China and that shrinks. Who cares? It doesn't matter. I mean, surely Europe and the US would be more important, but that's not true at all. In fact, the Chinese car market in China, Volkswagen generally sells around 10 times as many cars as it does in the United States. It makes more profit in China than it does across all of Europe combined. Well, it did. That's about to end. I'd be very concerned if I was Volkswagen and I had $185 billion in debt and I was about to borrow $200 billion to electrify my company. But if I had just fired 30% of my workforce in one of my biggest European car factories in Germany that builds EVs because of low demand, I'd be even more concerned. In recent months, Volkswagen has experienced a decline in market share in China's EV market, says Car News China. This can be attributed to the impact of BYD in the lower price segment and Tesla's dominance in the mid-priced segment. BYD captured 28% of China's EV market in May. Tesla had 11%. So the ID3, how many are they selling in China? Remember, this is a car market of 27 million cars sold per year. The ID3 sold 2,556 cars in May. So yeah, around 2.5 million cars were sold in May. Around 2,500 of those were ID3s. So you can see why Volkswagen has slashed the price of this car. Now, I actually don't see the problem that Volkswagen would slash the price of this car. I think it's a good move. It's a great car for this price. If they sold this car for this price in Australia, in Europe, they could sell probably literally millions of them. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but you see my point. My concern here is the fact that Volkswagen CEO in China isn't even aware that the company is doing this. Am I being overly harsh? Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you for watching.